We have the Epever here. It's also a solar charge controller. So we'll have some issues with this also, since it does not have dump load. So as soon as it's done charging, our RPMs are going to go through the roof, and there's nothing to control it, nothing to weigh it down. So we need a way to switch that power off to something else. So that's this disadvantage with this charge controller. But we'll at least find out if we're able to get the MPPT and we're able to get a little more power out of this thing. So I'm going to fire it up now. So that one's showing 0, this one's showing 12.2. This one here just cycles through everything, it's 12.3. So that should be low enough. Let's see what it does. Well, let's see where it settles at, but right there is definitely better. Right now it's at 149, 150. Our pressure is about 40. Seem to do any better if I add a second one. Actually, it might even make it worse. We're running at 112. Now I want to let the MPPT try to settle on what it thinks is the best point. It's going to be a little tricky, but I'll give it a little time. Especially dropping right there. Our pressure is 35. As far as without the MPPT charge controller, it was 40 psi is what gave us the best. I'm going to close this one and see if we're able to get a little better. My other meter is on 128. The voltage is 19 volts, which matches this one here. Our pressure see how quiet the unit is. Very quiet with this Pelton. That's our pressure right now. And our power is dropping off again. It was at 150. They're showing 130 watts. RPMs are 500 and almost 600. Our voltage is 27, which should be the same as this one here. And our watts keep dropping. So I was supposed to find the best spot. we're going to run this one here, this nozzle here, which is the one that runs straight, because it doesn't seem to make a difference if I run one or two. Seems to be doing about the same. So I'm going to run and see how high we get. It's right from the get-go. These things are so critical. That's a little better there. The big difference between this one here, 140, and this one that's at 116. That's our RPMs right there. This input voltage is the same as this one here. I backed it off a little bit, just in case we're running it, starting the generator. I'm going to crank it up a little bit more and see if it's just open it up where it should be 140. And then about 40 psi. I'm just backing it up. Alright, so we'll open it up again. Now this one is showing, well, jumping around 136, so this one's definitely always showing a little more. Kind of back again now. Well, it's better, but not outstanding. The highest I saw was 150, but it did not stay at 150. Looking at about 125, 24, let's say. And without the charge controller, we had 84 amps. So, I mean, what is that, 50% better? I'm sure we can get that by just changing our size of the Pelton. If we go with a larger one, give it a little more torque, we can play around with that also. But it's not, it's not there. Now we got to try the same thing. We got to try and test the charge controller with the turbo and see how that does. Yeah, I was expecting a little more. I thought the charge controller was definitely going to do the trick, but that brings us to less than half of what we should be getting. Right down to 50 psi is what I set it to. It seems to be bogging down. Pressure's the same. My pressure's still set at 50. Our pressure hasn't dropped any. If our pressure hasn't dropped, and we were 132 before, the pressure's right where we left it at 50, why is it dropping? If it was already set to 132, now we're down to 114. You can hear it like being bogged down. So that's supposed to find the best place, not the worst. And we were 132 before. If my line was having an issue where I was being depleted, I would expect the pressure to drop a little further, but my pressure is staying right where I set it to. Right where I set it. Didn't change any. 1.5-inch line, adjustable nozzle. Our pressure started, it settled initially at 132, now it's just slowly dropping. Even though our pressure is not dropping, those are the RPMs. This one is showing 132. But that's going to change, that one jumps all over the place. The problem with this charge controller is that as soon as it's done charging, this thing's going to speed right up and our voltage is going to go through the roof. I'm not even sure how fast this thing will free spin, because the RPM just get up so high that the voltage climbs really steep. So that's the disadvantage with that charge controller. It's made for solar. It does not have some way to transfer the load over to another device, like a hot water heater or something like that, to prevent this from overspinning and just producing too much voltage that could possibly damage that charge controller. See, the RPMs now are down to 410. It just keeps dropping and dropping. Our wattage is down to 96. Our pressure is exactly where we left it. It's not changing, so it's not my water line. That charge controller is doing something where it's actually bogging it down too much. It is not designed for hydro. I'm gonna let it run for a few more minutes and see how far it drops. It's been about 15 minutes since we started it up. Our voltage here is 16 volts, which is not a good sign. It's not letting it climb. And my RPMs, let me turn this back on here, are extremely low also. That's very low. The charger's not doing its job. Our power is down to 78 watts. Our pressure is exactly where we left it. It's right at 50, which is exactly where we had it all along. So it's not a water issue, it's a charge controller issue, because my voltage is too low. That should be higher. I'm going to restart it and cycle it again, and we'll see what it's going to do. This one says we're 96 watts, this one says 80. We'll jack it up again. I can't get it to climb back up again. Guess we'll have to maybe set it down all the way. There we go. My voltage is up to 80 volts. 120. volts, 134 watts. So that should remain high. The charge controller is not doing the job. We're 137 watts at 75 volts, 1300 RPM. Our pressure is right at 50 where we have been playing with all along. This one says that we're putting out 148 watts, this one 136. 1300 RPM is good. That's a good speed. But it won't maintain it there. We'll leave it there, see if it holds. Restarted it. Just round it down, brought it back down, and our RPM voltage is nice. RPMs are good. Our power is at 134 watts right now. But the unit, this charge controller just starts losing it and throwing it out of whack. Slowly we're losing our power. We're down to 129, down to 125. Our voltage is the same, 82 volts. Power output dropped a little bit. RPMs is still pretty good. I don't know why it's holding now and it wasn't before, just because I cycled it. Just by cycling, going down and back up again, we throw up our voltage, and it's been holding at well, it's been dropping, but it was 132, but it's been holding at least this voltage in RPM for quite a bit, not like it did the first time. That makes no sense. It's staying up there, but before it did it. As you saw, that charge controller is not doing a good job at finding the maximum power point. All I did was just go down and go back up again, and then it was able to do a lot better. It was dropping all the way down to about 80 watts. When we cycled it, it jumped right back up to 132, and it held it for a bit. At least it's much better than before. So definitely not a good charge controller for this application, just like the manufacturer responded. So we'll keep trying, and you will be getting a better charge controller. Probably go with the Midnight Classic. There's a lot of playing we got to do. I got to analyze all the results from all the tests we just did, and make a conclusion as far as water line size and what we're going to try next.